He's raised the whole bar of performance and accountability in a profession that needed it.
When I started in the business in the early 1970s, everybody knew the name Don Walker, but I didn't know the person Don Walker at that time.
He's a very humble person. He does not want to be the center of attention. He likes to work from behind the scenes, and he likes to help orchestrate and connect and bring favor to individuals.
The Bank Protection Act of 1968 had just passed, and the chairman of the bank had decided that they needed to hire a young FBI agent to become the security officer for the bank. And no one knew exactly what that person should do or what that person should be, but they knew by law they had to have one. So I was selected and immediately joined ASIS to learn as much as I could about the profession.
The board of directors of ASIS started discussions about offering certifications to its members back in the 1950s, and there was a lot of debate back and forth whether that should take place or not. And it took until the 1970s for the board of directors to actually create what is now known as the Professional Certification Board. But it took that board several more years to decide what the criteria would be for earning certifications such as the CPP, the Certified Protection Professional. And finally in 1978, the first examination to obtain this credential was offered, and that was done under Don's term as president of ASIS.
When I first joined in private security, there were no standards, no guidelines, and no recognition of what was a professional. And so I think it's very important that if you're going to have a profession like security, that you have a way for people to understand that that person knows what they're doing, and they are an expert. So that's why we started the Certification Protection Program, and I was very glad to say that I was one of the board members who voted for it at ASIS.
It raised the bar. It gave people, I think one of the most important things it does is it gives people who are practitioners a greater sense of worth, of accountability, of responsibility, of self-esteem.
The one thing that was missing was there was no objective standards and guidelines as to what a security program should be and what would make a person have a standard. How do you know that your standard is the right standard? So I've been a very strong proponent of developing objective standards and guidelines within the security profession, and I think they've been very important in helping put together security for special events, and I know in our own company we follow those guidelines.
Don started discussing the importance of standards back in the 1970s, and he got a lot of resistance in that area. Many of the members felt that that was not something that was appropriate for ASIS to do. Finally, the events of 9/11 caused ASIS to step up to the plate, and they created the Commission on Guidelines, which is now known as the Commission on Standards and Guidelines. And without his work on that, it wouldn't have been accomplished. As a matter of fact, Don was appointed the first co-chair of the Standards and Guidelines Commission when it was created.
He's elicited out of people skills and contributions and additions that they might not have ever even thought about making. And that's a talent.
The security profession is an industry that is built on friendships and relationships. And frankly, to grow, prosper, and have a great opportunity, you need the relationships, and you need the ability to have individuals stand up and give a referral for you, to give a recommendation. And Don has been just a titan in the industry for that. He's known as an individual who will reach out and who will introduce you, and all it takes is a phone call.
I love the company I work for, I love the people, and I love the industry. Every day is a new day, every day is something that I've not encountered before, and I think that I've learned almost every day of my life.